All right, so welcome everyone. It is August the 16th, 2023, and we are going to be going deeper into the sacral chakra. We've already looked at the third dimension and the blessing and virtue of fortitude. Now we're on to the universal law of balance, which is as within, so without, as above, so below. So let's jump right in. Where am I going? Oh yeah. Got what to do. Okay, so there we go. So we've been working with Albert Einstein with the third dimension. There's Jesus and fortitude. And now we're back to Sanat Kumara with his scales of balance and all about the universal law of balance. Okay, so just a quick review. This is the orange sacral chakra, the musical note of D, connected to that, and connected to the masculine, feminine balance, perfect equality within the self to create that gender equality on the planet. So no power over system within the self. And it's connected to the ovaries and the testes. So that's the reproductive systems. Yes, Ken.
I don't understand what the musical notes are.
Okay, so each chakra is connected to a note in the octave.
Okay, but what significance does that have?
Well, the vibration and frequency of music, of color, of the chakra system, it's all connected to helping us remember or to raise our vibration and frequency for the ascension. It's part of the higher dimensional frequencies and vibrations. And it's just reminding us that music is really sacred. Color is incredibly healing. And when we feel and understand that, it helps with us, our whole bodily systems coming into alignment. The sacredness of incredibly beautiful music. Some music especially has been manipulated to help keep the population in a lower vibration.
Really?
Yes, and the radio stations beam out and television stations beam out at a frequency that the some people on Earth understand. That'll keep the a species of beings from evolving. So it's really important what we listen to, what we watch, and as our frequency increases, sometimes it's very difficult to watch television. Yeah, like there's a lot of people that come to me and they say, I can't watch television anymore. It makes perfect sense because it's beaming out at a frequency to keep us in a lower state of being.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I can watch very little now. It just actually makes me sick.
Yeah. Often I will tell people as you're watching it to bless it. It's real practice and mastery. If you are watching TV or listening or, checking out the news, if you come across something that you want to judge, instead of judging it, bless it. Because in the blessing of everything, it raises everybody's frequency. And then there's going to be a method of using the universal law of balance, invoking it to help bring the above to the below, like just automatically. If we say, I invoke the universal law of balance as above, so below, it helps bring situations into a higher, helps all beings and situations evolve into the higher ways of being. But that will, I think we'll get to that today. So it's very simple and it works magically. It's just remembering to do it. I've been practicing. Okay, so yeah, so this orange sacral chakra, which is connected to the tummy, you can see it there. There's the heart system, so it's the tummy. sex and sexuality, reproduction, relationships. It's an incredibly creative center, and it's connected to fortitude. And that's the courage it takes to be here, because it takes a lot of courage to be here and keep coming back to the heart center. And I also included the dung beetle, which is it's a scarab. It's an amazing little beetle connected to Egypt. And you see how they put wings on it here. There's that little ball that it rolls a dung ball in front of it. And it's a metaphor. The scarab became a symbol of birth, life, death, and resurrection, associated with the sun's daily regenerative powers of dawn, sunset. So sometimes the sun looks like a beautiful orange ball. So just knowing that energy of the sun is very much connected to this chakra. Okay, so moving along here, this is about the third dimension. So the sacral chakra, that orange chakra right there, is a portal in the physical body to the third dimension. We are absolutely in the third. We're here in physicality. So this is us in the third dimension. It's defined by the quality of the perception or experience of physicality, meaning that the universe is perceived through the experience of length, width, depth, but the growth quality is the ability to embrace all dimensions from this dimension: reality, emotion, and spirit. So the more we clean up all these old belief systems, we have perfect access to all the higher dimensions. And that's how we evolve. This is our ascension. This dimension also has the unique quality of freedom of choice. So free choice. And that's also true of the archangels, of the master, of the higher realms. There is free choice. So it's not just the third dimension. All of the numerically higher dimensions have the opportunity to exhibit in the third. And that's when we let go of the old belief systems. The growth opportunity and quality of the third is the ability to choose to expand beyond the mere perception of physicality and incorporate all aspects of self. So that's when our past lives incorporate into this physical form. And you can, the reason why sometimes it just feels like this letting go goes on and on and on, because the past lives are coming in and being incorporated. And often, sometimes as they come in, there's more work to be done. The third dimension is not limited by the time-space continuum. It merely appears to be. That is the challenge and opportunity in the third, is to reach beyond physical appearances. So basically, it's just that letting go, and you realize that things are not as they seem here. There's so much more than meets the eyes, the physical eyes. Yes, Darren.
And when it says all aspects of self, does that mean all higher dimensions right to source?
Well, from my understanding, it's the lifetimes that we've had on Earth, is what I think what Linda Dillon explained as an aspect. Yes, Steve.
Well, more than just the lifetimes we've had on Earth, we've had lifetimes on CCC
But are they the ones that are incorporating right now for our ascension?
All our aspects.
Even like from Andromeda and the Pleiadian sector, they're all okay. So, but weren't they already incorporated?
I have no idea whether
Yes, that's what I thought, that that was a separate from my understanding, the aspects are the ones that are connected to this ascension from this planet.
Okay, I don't know for sure, but that was my understanding.
Because, like, has Archangel Michael ever explained to you that you had other lifetimes and other planets?
Absolutely. Yeah, he said you've been all over the place.
Okay, and did he say that those aspects were being incorporated into this physical form?
I don't recall him saying that.
I think he would have said something to us.
They've just said your aspects.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
good
don't know.
question, Darren. I don't know
Oh.
for sure. I think it's just the ones from, because I mean, I've been told I've been here like 770 something lifetimes. That's a lot to incorporate.
Yeah.
You need a bigger house.
Yeah. When it talks about self, does that mean the soul or spirit?
They're the same as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Well, they're I think they would differ with you, but that's all right.
Well, no, some people will give different definitions of spirit and soul, yeah. But if it's mine, right, it's a, I was gonna say an aspect of the soul, but I can't use that word because I don't quite mean it the same way, but if it's mine, it's some aspect of the soul. And even the spirit would be some aspect of the soul.
Okay. And my understanding too, the soul is more connected to the light, whereas the self is the more the
Yeah, more of the personality, I would think. Huh?
yeah, yeah.
I would say the soul is an aspect of spirit and the personality is an aspect of soul.
Okay, well, you can, yeah. Because I mean,
Well, it is, soul is an aspect of the spirit, the Father, Mother, One, if that's what you mean, it is.
But
Everything.
that's what,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if that's the distinction you're making, yeah, sure, no, that makes sense.
But I guess it still comes down to what is self. Is that soul? Would you call soul self?
Well, again, it is at one level of life, yes. But it all came from the one, right?
Right, yeah.
So now you could call the one spirit, and you could then say soul came from spirit. Yeah, that's true.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Depends on how you're using the terms.
Yeah. There's a prayer there's a Lahochi prayer that gives thanks for divine alignment, and it talks about perfect divine alignment with personality, soul, and spirit and soul, or something like that. I'll get the wording for you because it gives more of the way the Council of Love describes it. I can say
Okay.
that to you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, yeah.
Okay. So this is the blessing and virtue, divine quality of fortitude. And this is just a brief overview of it. Courage in all forms, endurance, the ability to keep going forward and when others cease and give up. So this is very much connected to the third dimension, to the sacral chakra, the virtue of pathfinder, strength of purpose, stamina in all senses. Know that patience is a part of fortitude. Fortitude is the encompassing of forbearance, and forbearance is indeed a quality that requires patience. So that's the stillness and the restraint required as we stand back and watch everything unfold. To continue going forward with stamina when you really feel like pushing the individual off the cliff, it will be required in working with 1212. And the vibration is orange. So when I look at this orange, it's lightest orange, almost golden, to deep, deep orange. So when you work with a vibration or array of a color, it's the lightest color to the darkest color. So it's very much connected to the father energy, being in gratitude, virtue, golden, and the blessing is more the mother energy, the stillness and the movement of the mother. So, okay. So moving on to the universal law of balance. This is Sanat Kumara through Linda Dillon, channel for the Council of Love. And in the meditation, he says, we are being led to deal and to breathe with magenta. So magenta is our mastery. And magenta is that perfect balance of color between the blue and the red. It's the color of a good red wine, of a grape juice, maroon, of fall chrysanthemum. So in every meditation, Sanat Kumara either gets us to work with the magenta, which is our mastery color, connected to the third eye opening, that wisdom, or his gold. In every single one, it's one or the other. So this one in the third dimension, we're being reminded of our mastery right off the bat in this meditation. And he says, relax and feel the tension easing away. And with that tension, to let go of that feeling. Am I doing enough? Am I doing it right? Am I on track? Breathe it out and let it go. And feel your jaw relax and your neck, your shoulders. Bring them down and breathe in this wonderful color of magenta. So magenta is the color of Jesus, our beloved Yeshi. So he's the one that taught us fortitude. The Buddha and Lord Maitreya. Breathe it in, and as you exhale, feel your energy sinking down into your heart, deeper and deeper as you let go of the week ahead. Yes, Ken?
The meditation, I'm sorry if I interrupted it.
No, it's okay.
Well, okay, I'm sorry I did this, but is Yeshi Jesus?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it-
his nickname. Because his name is
Okay,
Yeshua. Yeah,
okay.
that's
I'm
his.
sorry I interrupted that. It's
No, that's okay. It's okay. That's good. Good to be clear. Darren.
I'm a little surprised that Buddha is magenta as well. I thought he was always gold.
Nope. Nope. He comes in, he talks about himself being magenta. He's the one that explains wisdom. Wisdom is magenta. Yeah, no, he really anchors in the magenta with us through the Council of Love. So Nakamura is gold for some reason, but he's of the Buddha line, isn't he, Steve? Isn't Steve?
Well, he was the lamplighter Buddha, yeah, Dipankara Buddha.
Yeah.
He's the Buddha
Yeah.
that Gautama Buddha asked to allow him to become a Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's one of the Kumaras, huh?
So not Kumara?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the Kumaras. Yeah. And I
Sananda
believe
Kumara,
Buddha is too.
yeah.
Jesus Sananda is Venusian too? Kumara?
He's Kumara, yeah.
Okay.
He's
I think the Kumaras, SK did talk about the Kumaras being from Venus. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would make Jesus from Venus and the Buddha from Venus, maybe.
do people come from a place like from Venus? I don't know. I've led lives on Arcturus, but also on Andromeda and these others.
Mhm.
Say I was from Arcturus? I don't know.
I think if you're galactic, you say you're from a planet.
I guess it's maybe the current one.
Yeah.
For me, the current one would be Arcturus.
Mm-hmm. 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 I think it's just a matter of choice, but with SK being the planetary logos of Venus, so he probably says he's from Venus, being the logos.
Well, he does. I think the Kumaras are from Venus. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sananda
Yeah.
Kumara. So it's really the higher self of Jesus that's from Venus.
Mhm. Nice. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's good to know.
Mhm.
Okay, so back into the meditation, sinking down into your heart deeper and deeper as you let go of the week ahead, your to-do list, and give yourself that red wine color, that gift of time, of simply being here with your circle in our sacred space. As you go deeper into your heart, see that tiny, tiny dot, that pinprick of light in the center or towards the bottom of your heart, the seat of your soul. So it's interesting that he's talking about that pinprick being, either in the center or towards the bottom of the heart, and calling it the seat of your soul. And feel, yes,
The pinprick is the hridayam.
I know, but he's moving it around though.
Well, maybe, but the seat of your soul, the depth, the bottom of your soul is way down there. That's where I saw the self.
Yeah.
Seat of the soul.
Yeah.
The hridayams, it's like way up here, and the seat of the soul is way down there.
Yeah. So he says the pinprick of light in the center or towards the bottom. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that would mean, but excuse me.
I think you can head for either place. Find that pinprick. Yeah. Okay. So feel yourself moving towards that pinprick of light in your heart.
Yeah,
as
the
if you're-
center, bottom of the heart.
Yeah. Yeah. As if you're flying, bringing all your energy, all of you in through that pinprick, through that portal of white light to the inner corridors of your blessed heart, of your sweet self, and breathe.
Mhm.
So he's saying that the self is right there. Of
Yes,
your blessed heart, of your sweet self. Yeah.
it's in the seat of the soul. It's in the depth of the heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that might help answer your question about the soul and the self, Darren. Okay. Okay. So once again, here we are, and see the walls of your heart that are golden. So when we fly through the pinprick of light, we fly into the golden chambers that are in behind the heart. See the walls of your heart that are golden is the gold of Gabriel, that Florentine gold, the gold of Yahweh, which is a really bright yellow, and the gold of Sanat Kumara. And there is tons of writing, of symbols, of pictures, of messages on these walls. And this is where you have come and will come again and again to understand not only your sacred purpose, but your intent. Yes, Darren.
So that chamber, is that the seat of the soul?
No, I believe the seat of the soul is at the bottom of the heart, because he says here, in the center, so the pinprick of light is either in the center or towards the bottom of your heart, the seat of your soul. The seat of your soul is at the bottom of the heart.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he
So-
says, fly through that pinprick of light, through that portal of white light, to the inner corridors of your blessed heart, of your sweet self.
So where is the seat in the heart then?
The
The
seat
bottom of the heart.
is the bottom of the heart, and your blessed heart is your sweet self.
The soul as a light sits at the extreme bottom of the heart.
Mhm.
Can't go any further. It's a dead end.
And
It really is. It's a dead
you
end.
know-
Yeah.
you know how it says to fly through the pinprick of light, and you fly through it, and it's like a corridor. Is that similar to when people pass and then they talk about going into this tunnel of white light?
I think that's a dimensional.
Because
I
I
think-
wonder if we just turn around and go right into
Yeah, well,
deeper
we
into
may.
ourselves, and then we fly out the back.
We may. We
Yeah.
may. We have to go out through the fontanelle.
Yeah.
And that is usually what is described as the tunnel of light.
Okay.
Otherwise, people can just sit up in their body, and walk off. They don't need to go out through the fontanelle.
Right. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you could go through the heart as well, through the pinprick of light.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay. It's funny.
I,
What's that?
in my meditation, I went down 100 floors.
Yeah.
And then was kind of whooshed off through the heart.
Yeah.
to the end, to where I couldn't go any further, and off to the right was a little room, and on a ledge, it was all red, by the way, not gold.
Yeah.
It was the self. It was the
Yeah.
light of the self, toned down. The mother said, toned down so you wouldn't go off to the Himalayas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But there it was. And
Yeah.
as I say, there was no out. You
Yeah.
know, like the end of the road.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In one of these meditations, he talks about going in through the pinprick of light, into the gold, and then reaching up high in the heart to do something. So,
Didn't have that experience. Does, you know,
yeah.
be. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I love it that he gives us all these clues in here, because these meditations are amazing. Okay. So let's go on. Okay, so let's see, here we are. Okay. So yeah. So on the walls is lots of writing. We've written messages to ourselves, and also know that this golden energy is the self-worth energy. It's gratitude to self. So as we're sitting in these golden chambers, which is a good practice to do, like even every day, if you can, you're really sitting in your joy, because joy is golden, self-worth is golden, our ascension is golden. So many of these words that I bring up, I try to make them all golden so you can see what they're explaining is in these inner chambers. This is where you formulate and come to understand on a completely different level your mission and purpose and desires. So the desires are in here. I want you to sit down in one of these wonderful chairs or pillows that are placed in this vault of your heart, and take a nice deep breath of magenta, which is our mastery. This is wisdom, this is beauty, and go deeper. I want you to think, to feel, to allow, to float to the surface, something that your heart desires, and don't simply go with the first thing that arises. Go deeper, a desire that you have held hidden in your heart, perhaps for a long time. Perhaps it's a desire that you brought with you when you incarnated, and you want it so desperately, so deeply that you don't even speak about it or think about it, because the thought of not having it, or asking for it, or working on it and not succeeding is too devastating. And go deeper. So what do you think he's talking about here? Yes, Darren.
Well, I just had a question there. Those desires that you have in your heart, do they stimulate your emotions to come out to surface?
Well, it's whatever your heart desires are connected to ascension. So emotions, what kind of emotions are you talking about?
Well, I'm thinking emotions that stimulate to create that desire.
Yeah, but what's the desire? That's what he's asking. What is this desire? What do you think this desire is? That you'd be devastated if you didn't achieve it.
Yeah, well, the desire is written in your heart by the soul, I guess. And when you read it in your heart, or it comes out of your heart, then somehow it has to be manifest physically. And that's, I guess, my question.
Okay. But what do you think the desire is? I think Steve, what do you think the desire is?
I don't know, but I just wanted to point out that if anything stimulates something to come to the surface, it would probably be a divine state rather than a feeling. Feeling is very subsidiary, right? It happens inside of us. Whereas in a divine state, we're immersed in it, right? A divine state is transformative. It can work on us, let's say. Whereas a feeling just it is aimed outwards and doesn't have the same, well, it doesn't have any transformative power, motivating power, but not transformative. So if anything were to move us, I would think it would be a divine state.
And what are the states that the beings on the other side are in? They're in joy, they're in love, they're in bliss, they're in.
Oh, yeah.
And
God, if we felt what they were in, we'd immediately, we'd be saying, oh my God, this is what they're all talking about. This is it.
This is it. And the people that have these near-death experiences that go through the pinprick of light and they come back and they're like, what are we doing here? Why aren't we all just being nice to each other?
Right.
That's like,
Now I see what you are meaning by flying through the pinprick of light. We fly through the pinprick of light to get into the heart.
into the love.
Yeah, oh, into the love for sure. But we don't fly through the pinprick of light to escape from the body. We fly through the fontanelle.
Okay.
Usually, that's the fly through place.
Okay.
Just sit up out of our body.
Yeah.
So we don't fly through the Hridayam.
All right, but do you know that for sure?
I'm still here, right?
That's what I
No.
mean. Like, I
No.
wonder if they're connected because it's both like a tunnel of
be.
light.
be.
And when you go through the fontanelle, you go into the love. And if
Okay.
you have a near death and you come back, you're like, often cops don't want to be cops anymore. It's too violent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing here? Why are we not all being nice to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Well, I would agree with Steve that you leave through the fontanelle.
Oh, okay, there's two votes.
okay, okay, okay,
That makes it right.
okay.
Well,
Okay, so
Rules.
what are we doing when we go through the pinprick of light into the golden chambers? What is that? Is that not joy? Is that not the bliss of the higher realms?
Well, love, yeah. Oh, if one
Or
goes
what's the
through,
difference?
as soon as you go through the Hridayam, you're saturated in love.
Yeah, so what's the difference?
To what?
to our heart's desires too, is what I'm trying to get at. Like,
Yeah.
what SK's trying to get to here is what is it that the thought of not having it, of asking for it or working on it or not succeeding is too devastating. What would that be? Okay, somebody else.
Darren, help me out.
I maybe Ken or Lillian want to say something.
Well, I want to be a Buddha.
I'm sorry, what about?
I
I'm not a
wanna be a
Buddha.
Buddha.
I don't know. I just haven't gained enough weight yet, so maybe in a while. Anyway, what I was thinking is, if this is all tied into sacred purpose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And what's everybody's sacred purpose on planet but to ascend? We're here to ascend. But what is ascension? It's just attaining these higher states of being, being in joy, like waking up in joy and going about your day in joy, being in gratitude for everybody here. Like that to me is the ascension, being in that kindness for everyone. It's exactly what people have when they have near-death experiences and they come back and they're here and they're like, why aren't we all being loving and enjoy and creating from that place? Like that's where we should be. So I think maybe that desire that he's talking about is our ascension. And
yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's what I would think.
okay, so this pinprick of light is very much connected to flying into that state of ascension. I feel in the golden chambers, and that's why they want us to go in there over and over and over and feel that self-worth, basically, which is of the higher realms. That beautiful state of joy. But that's just my opinion.
One of us is feeling the ear, the other is feeling the tail.
Yeah.
The other one hugging a leg. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
ascension is like an ear.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love that and I'll often tell people in the reading room, because they all will say to me, I can't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. It's rare that somebody will come in and say they love meditating. And I'll say, just drop out of your head Get out of your head and sink down into your heart and fly into the golden chambers in behind. Not one of them has ever heard of it before. And I say, practice that. That's where we want to be. That's what we want to wake up in, that state of being, that golden state. That's the treasure to be. Yeah, that golden, beautiful joy. Wake up in gratitude for everything and then start creating from that place of gratitude. And there was a funny story. The guy that created Mind Valley. Has anybody heard of Mind Valley? It's like a platform for courses, and it's very successful. And he had this little thing where he interviewed one of the Japanese billionaires, and the billionaire said to him, the most important thing that to create, what had helped him create such abundance was the word arigato. And arigato means gratitude, thank you. And he would say it for every financial transaction that happened, from buying a cup of coffee to, you know, a big financial transaction. He said that word over and over and over and over and over. But arigato is self-worth. It's being in the golden chambers. It's joy. It's bliss. It's amazing. So when you start saying that word with every transaction, that's what that fellow said helped him create an amazing, being an amazing place of abundance. I just thought that was interesting because it's connected to this golden energy. And so simple. Gratitude. Okay. So SK says, bring up that heart's desire, and it can be physical or spiritual, emotional. Just let it come forth in your heart and let your mind know about it too. Now, staying in your heart in this wonderful place of love and safety, I want you to look, to feel, to observe way out into the universe, not just on Gaia, but using your third and fourth eyes and your sensors and your heart, because your heart has the ability to see. Look out into the vastness of the universe, of deep space, and locate where, either on Earth or far beyond throughout the heavens, where that desire is located in the without. You have the desire within. Let's find it in the vastness of the without. So take a minute. You can do this. It's not a matter if it's there, it's there. So our third and fourth eyes. So the third eye is very magenta colored. It's the wisdom, getting to that really deep reverence for everything. It's deep forgiveness of everything. It's compassion. It's non-judgment. And the fourth eye is connected to truth, knowing we're never alone. Everything is in divine order. And beauty is that harmony. So real higher states of being. So he wants us to look out into the universe and see where that desire is. And then we're coming back, and he says, now with your hands, your arms, reach out gently. So it's like Steve saying, is it connected to my? So just reach out lovingly, sweetly, bring it into your hands, that heart's desire, the same way you would pick up a little lost kitten in a bush. Pick it up and bring it across the multiverse. So it's the gentleness too. Being in that state of real gentleness, the state of a little kitten. Bring it into your heart right now through that pinprick portal of light directly into your heart, knowing that you now have that, the composite energy, the tangible to bring this forth into your physical reality. Thank it for coming to you, for sending that locator beam, and promise that you will birth this and bring this forth into the physical reality of your life, in accordance and by invoking the universal law of balance of within and without. And then when we're ready, just feel the warmth of that gift. So again, that heart's desire is also very connected to something super gentle. I love that metaphor of the kitten. Yeah. And it can be, as you said, it can be anything. The desire can be physical, spiritual, emotional. Just let it come forth. Yeah. And it feels good because he says the warmth of that gift. So often that's connected to the golden, the orange. Yeah, Darren.
So by bringing that desire into your heart, does that use the creation formula then to bring it into reality?
Well, all he's doing is saying, reach out and reach out with your eyes, your etheric eyes, and just bring it in meditation from that golden place. So I feel like it's already us. I think he's trying to explain that we are already this heart's desire. Because it's just, we don't believe it. Because we're so stuck in these old belief systems that we're unlovable and we're not good enough. So he's just saying, reach out and just know you are worthy.
Yeah, I agree with that, but we are creator beings. So I was just wondering, where does the creation occur?
Well, I think this is more a knowing, because the golden energy is connected to knowing that we are so much more than what we think we are.
Yeah, creator beings. Yeah.
Yeah, what is your heart's desire? So if that's, if that's what you want to, if that's your heart's desire to be a creator being, then you're just know, like it's right there. You can etherically pull it towards you. And our universal self also is something that's kind of out there, that's coming closer. Archangel Michael said it's anchoring closer and closer. So
yeah, but we are all creator beings, every one of us.
Yeah. So then aren't we just supposed to know that? Like just be that?
Well, I think we need to do something there as well. I don't think just knowing it creates anything. You have to do something.
Okay, well, this is slightly different because this is the law of balance. So it's as within, so without, as above, so below. So I'm not sure that like he's not talking about the creation formula here. It's more of a deep knowing, a heart's desire. So isn't that slightly different than creation formula? Because he does go into creation formula in some of the other laws.
Yeah, well, I just wondering if this is part of it or not. I just try to connect the two.
Okay. Well, to me, this one's more just a knowing, and it's us bringing up the heart's desire, why we're here. What is that heart's desire that we would feel like, as he said, if we don't succeed, it feels really awful. So, but I do know there's no failure this time. I think he's just trying to remind us there is no failure. This is who we are.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever any failure. I mean, that's we're successful no matter what we do.
Well, we tried to ascend in Atlantis. We tried to ascend in Lemuria. We didn't.
Would you explain what you mean by we?
The human collective was on Earth in Lemurian times and Atlantean times, and we didn't succeed in evolving to achieve ascension. But what's being done here is so different because we're ascending in our physical form. So it's very different than turning into sheer energy. We're not doing that. We're doing, like, the best way I can explain it is the people that have near-death experiences and they go and they feel the feelings of when somebody dies, and there's no judgment. It's pure love, it's joy, it's bliss, it's all these higher dimensional states of being. And they come back and they're like, what? Why is this so difficult? Why? Why? You know, because they felt it and it's so strong, they never forget. Hmm. Yeah. And part of the reason Linda Dillon was such a good channel was she had many near-death experiences, I believe. Hmm. So, yeah. Yeah, but easier said than done. These belief systems, they drive up physical ailments, all kinds of difficulties, all kinds of suffering on this planet. So the more we're in these higher states, the easier it is to create. It's a very natural thing to create, to understand creation from a place of understanding your heart's desire, I believe is what he's saying. So the higher states of being and our universal self, who is very close to us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also understanding that we are light beings who are creators.
Yeah, I mean, mhm. Yes, we're definitely creators. Now we just need to create systems that work.
Darren, if you're if you're talking, I don't know if you're talking about this generation specifically, or just everybody is a light being and a creator. Which is it?
Well, everybody has the potential to be a creator, or are
Okay.
creators within their light self, within their essential self. Yeah.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
But I think everybody's creating without even realizing it. Because even
Oh,
if
yeah,
somebody
sure.
creates cancer, they're creating. We're always
Yeah.
creating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We're creating all the time, so it's where we put our focus, I guess, is the important part.
Absolutely. Yeah, the energy goes where the focus is. So yes, really focusing. If we're waking up in gratitude, then we're going to create more things to be in gratitude for, basically. Mhm. Yeah. That's why I think the golden energy is so important. And it's the Archangel Gabriel's golden spiral, ascension spiral. It's a spiral of joy. So really understanding gold, joy, gratitude, self-worth, knowing, desires, all these golden words. That's why I keep highlighting them, because the golden words are, I feel, are really connected to our ascension.
I think the 13th octave is very important too.
Okay, so on the 13th octave is like the 13th dimension, and this emerald green. The color of the 13th octave is emerald green. So understanding the golden energy here and the mother's blue creates the green. So the blue energy is very important as well, and has been very suppressed here. And that's knowing that everything is forgiven. So as we fall into these states of being, understanding the blue, understanding karmic dispensation, the throat is very blue, and the gold, it creates the green. And that's naturally the 13th octave, the 13th dimension. Yes, Ken.
Well, I think all this information is valuable, but when I go to create or do whatever, I have to be aware of all this stuff in order to do a good creation or something. I'm confused.
It's helpful. It's really helpful to be anchored in our self-worth. So we're giving you an overview of how things work in the higher realms and how they create in the higher realms. So all these understandings add up to being great creators. Creators that are creating something in alignment. Because our systems are not really in alignment right now. The political system, financial, education, it's all based on, old systems of control and punishment, really. So the more we come into this state of gratitude and forgiveness and compassion, then we naturally create systems that work and lives that are more without suffering, individually and then in the community, and then as a collective. So all this information is really helpful to bring the self into alignment.
Yeah, I think it's really important because, by understanding these laws, we reduce our suffering on this planet.
Yeah, understanding the laws and the divine states and the dimensional growth patterns. Like it's a whole system. So and it's just anchoring. The more we talk about it, the more it just anchors into us. The more we get to the point where we're understanding it. It's really a beautiful system. So Sanat Kumara goes on and he says, I am Sanat Kumara. Welcome to each of you. Yes, Ken.
Well, I get it. Because the more we talk about it, the more we can use it.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get that.
Mhm.
Now, up to this point, I didn't have any idea what we were doing. Now I get it.
Okay, good. It takes a while. I mean, we've only been doing this for a couple of years. And as I said, it's taken me 10 years to get to this point where I can answer questions. I mean, even Steve nodding his head, it takes a while. Yeah.
Well,
And
well,
Steve's been like on the spiritual path for a good 40 or 50 years, Steve.
And 75, whatever that is.
Yeah, so that's a long time. I mean, I came into this in 2011. Michael does say I like to fly fast. I mean, I have been very determined, but I did know, like, I was the one that designed the chart. Like, it was a download. That was Archangel Gabriel, I think. And then I knew that I would be studying this. So that's what I have been doing, and I've just found it so amazing that when they said you can share it now, like on Zoom, I was like, oh my gosh, can't wait. Because all it does is help us understand. It helps me understand more. So that when I do readings, I can help people understand it more simply, because it's got to be really easy when I do the readings. Like I hardly talk. It's got to be really simple. But with us, because we've been on the path for a bit longer, we can go into more detail. Yeah. Okay, so SK says, welcome, my brothers and sisters of my heart, of my journey, and welcome to this time, not only of the study of the universal law, for it is my joy to be your teacher and your guide, but what we are also undertaking with each of these is the practical. And that is why we've done this exercise this day. It is a time, my friends, of fruition, of bringing into your life, your world, your reality, which is a fifth dimensional reality, not only the understanding of how the law works, but the practicality of how you work with it in order to create, in order to bring forth, yes, what your heart desires, but also Nova Earth, Nova Human, yes, even new you, the beauty of each of you. So that's being in harmony with everything that's happened, the acceptance, of the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything we've been through. That's the incorporating of all our aspects, bringing them in, and just being in that state of non-judgment, of compassion for self. And then this law is all about as within, so without, so extending that outward. If you are not simply a fragment of who you are above, and we don't know how many times we will have to say this, but we will say it until it is firmly anchored within your knowing conscious self. In this lifetime, in this incarnation, you have brought the fullness of your soul design, the totality of your being into form. Okay, so I think this is why he's saying when we reached out and we pulled the heart's desire into us, and just a metaphor of a little kitten, the gentleness of it all. That's the love of the higher realms, really. Yes, Darren.
so when he says bring the totality of your being into form, why are we not manifesting as the totality we are?
Because we don't believe it.
Okay. I understand that, yeah.
That's what he keeps saying. How many times do we have to tell you? Yeah, until it is firmly anchored. We are
Okay.
heaven on earth. Like, that's why I put heaven in the anchor, because until it's firmly anchored, we actually are heaven on earth. That's who we are. And the more we
Okay.
can laugh about it, the better, because in the laughter, all the belief systems fall away. They just disappear because we're not attached to them anymore. So being, and it's funny because I hung out with Amelia all day today and we just laughed our heads off. Like, that's what a little kid does. That's what you do with a little kid. Like, she's so funny and we just laugh and laugh and laugh. And I mean, SK calls himself a comedian, the comedian of Venus. So I get it. Like, we're supposed to be in this real lightness of being. So just keep finding out, feeling what's kind of funny, and just allowing yourself to have that laughter. Yes, Ken.
That's what I think that's what I feel about our kitties and the way we deal with them
Yes.
and their love and their craziness. So yeah,
Yes. Okay, good. So this is why, see how we were reaching out and bringing in a little kitty into our heart? And that's the feeling, that real joy and gentleness and just, yeah, lightness of being. A kitty is super light too. Like, it's not a heavy creature at all.
well, you should see one of our cats, but that's okay.
Here he mentioned it as a kitten though. So kittens are quite small. Mhm.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Just
no,
making a
I know
joke.
cats can get quite big, but yeah, I think the metaphor is a kitten here, so it's just interesting.
I was
Okay.
just making a joke.
Yeah, okay, good. Now, how is this different than other incarnations, other journeys on other planets that you have made with me and with others? There are times, because each of you, let me preface this by saying that each of you have enormous array of talents, abilities, capacities. In previous incarnations, there were times when you would say, well, I am going to incarnate and I'm going to contribute to the greater understanding of humility and piety. And so you have chosen circumstances, whether they are financial circumstances or a lack of talent or being in a situation where you were having to practice humility. And I do not mean that you were a monk or a priest or a nun, because sometimes the greatest humility has to be practiced by kings and queens. So you created situations where you did not bring the fullness of everything of who you are. Think of it as above with you in order to build for yourself, but usually for the collective, trying to break the paradigm of the old third. You didn't bring all of you so that you would be able to do this and to learn more deeply and to teach by example and devotion more deeply. That is not true in this incarnation, in this period of ascension. Now, let us also be very clear, you never left the spark of your divinity at home. That is not possible. So whether it is you, my beautiful light worker circles, my love holders, you've never left your spark of divinity, of oneness at home, and neither has anyone else, even if they're behaving and lost in the darkness and behaving in atrocious ways. It does not matter. Their spark of divinity is still within them and always has been. So everyone is divine. We were all originally born angels. And so we're all here to remember who we truly are and to ascend together. Back in 1212, we all decided to go together. So, and this is the practice of watching the news and sending compassion or whatever's happening, to be able to have that forbearance, that restraint, that stillness around the chaos, and to send. And so that's why we do the sending on Mondays. Send love everywhere. Okay. In this incarnation, and we are not simply speaking for a select few, we are speaking for all of you, because this is the time of ascension of Gaia, ascension of the kingdoms, ascension and completion of this chapter for humanity. as well, and everybody is on high alert and standing by for this completion. So as you came, we have told you, you are not simply masters in the making. You have brought the totality of your mastery in a wonderful diversity of ways to the planet. So you are fully the reflection, the embodiment of that spark of love that you are above, say in heaven, and certainly the totality of your being as you are in the what you think of as the higher dimensions. You do not lack for anything. You do not lack anything. Now, in the physical form that you have chosen and designed, yes, in concert with your guides and with the Divine Mother, and in concert with those that you are choosing to incarnate with, you design your body, your physicality, your wherewithal, your container in a certain way. And there are some of you that we listen to and we hear you say, well, this is not perfection. This is not the way. I'm sure it is not the way I appear in heaven. And he says the contents of the container are the same and the design is perfection for what you wish to be a reflection of and what you wish to communicate. That will act as a catalyst, not only for your ascension, for your completion, for your jump, but also for others. Okay. So he says, there are no mistakes. We've all designed ourselves exactly how we wanted to be. And we all have that spark within us. Yes, Darren.
Okay, so how do we bring that mastery out? Because I certainly don't feel like a master right now.
Go back and do the meditation and pull that kitten towards you. And within that is everything. It's really the knowing. It's really just really sitting in those golden chambers and knowing, and waking up in that place. And I can say that being in gratitude really, really, really helps. It's done at, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it so simply. But just knowing our self-worth and being in that state of blessing everything is amazing. It really is an amazing way to anchor in ascension.
Okay, so how do we know our mastery?
Well, yes, Steve.
I have had experiences of mastery, abundance, peace, etc. And every time I've asked Michael about it, they have been involved. And the point I've been making in a couple of books is ask them for what you want. And they will look at you and say, is he ready? Yeah, he's ready. Well, let's give it to him then.
Yeah. And also re-listening to these meditations too, over and over and over and over, really has helped me. Like, because there's so much wisdom in it and they're downloads. And they know our heart's desires, but if you voice them as well, like Steve said, that because this ascension, it's not just us, it's us and them together. We're in it together. And sometimes we forget that. Yeah, so asking is a big part of it. Yeah,
They're the ones that pull the switch.
yeah, but they're in charge. They're definitely in charge, like you said, Steve. Yeah,
Yeah, they are.
yeah, they're in charge. And it's when we just let go, that surrender piece is huge. That like really.
And then suddenly you find yourself in that space.
Yeah.
I really can't remember the space of mastery, but I certainly remember the space of abundance. So it's not just, oh, no, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a feeling of security and
Safety.
And wanting to be like a pitcher, you want to pour abundance out. It's a wonderful feeling.
Yep, but then it's the mastery is anchoring it into everyday life.
Oh, definitely. Oh, wow. Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And that's where I feel like gratitude is a huge piece of this.
Probably.
Really waking. I've been practicing this for a couple of years and just saying thank you to every transaction, like the guy said. Arigato, arigato. And it's, you can use arigato, you can use thank you can use I am gratitude, but every single transaction you make, and it makes a huge difference. So I think the golden key is understanding the golden words. It's made a huge difference in my life. Yeah. Okay, now Ken, I think you had something to say.
Oh, I don't know. I was going to say that, so this is all really just getting out of our own way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And sitting in those golden chambers every day that's a huge thing. Waking up before you even get out of bed, getting yourself into that golden state. Think of it as ascension gold. and it's very light and giggly. Yeah. I have a hard time describing it because it just is, it's a state.
It's another divine state. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard to reduce them to 3D language. 3D
Yeah.
language doesn't have any words for it.
No, it's just a real lightness of being, and you just go about your day and fun things happen.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So there are those of you who would say, oh yeah, Ken.
It seems to me that one of the ways you can tell whether this has happened or not is through your feelings.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Mhm. It's you're combining both sides of the brain equally. So we're understanding the mental piece, but we're also understanding the feeling piece, and they combine together into the oneness, and it's the heart work. It's heart consciousness. So, and that's why we fly through the green into the gold. Like, it's all about heart consciousness. There's no difference between healing and creation. Okay.
I'd caution against, I think you said, Ken, it's all a feeling state. A feeling state is very much, what's the word I'm looking for? Weaker, maybe that's a good word, than a divine state. Right? A feeling state comes from within, you feel it, but a divine state you are not only in, but it utterly changes everything about your experience. Whereas a feeling may not.
But to access the feelings is a way to get to it. To understand that feelings are a big piece, like you use the feelings to get to the divine
Yes,
state.
I see what you're saying. Yes, very travel by feelings. Yes, very direct path. I agree.
Yeah, and that's why we study the divine qualities, because that's what they are. They are like a compassion, humility, fortitude. We're going to go into awe, the magic and the wonder, the next one. And then we're going to go to joy, and then we're going to go to prudence, and then we're going to go to charity. Like, they're all so beautiful. So understanding the mental piece to them makes a huge difference. That's the golden piece, the mental piece. And then the actual feeling is connected to being able to forgive everything. That's the divine mother energy that has been suppressed here for so long. We don't really get deep enough into how forgiveness plays a big piece of this. But through forgiveness, you can access all these divine states. Being in a really deep forgiveness for yourself, for all your lifetimes, for every situation around us. Yeah. Okay, so there are those of you who would say, Sanat Kumara Raj, I cannot believe that I chose to come to this planet with this disability, with legs that don't work. And I would say to thee, yes, you did. And you may have come in this representation to simply activate the collective compassion or humility, or to work with the laws of change, of transmutation, of elimination, but there have been no errors. First of all, the mother doesn't make mistakes, and in your divine self, my friends, neither do you. And yes, we have often heard this, oh, I'm sure I made a mistake. I came to the wrong family. No, you didn't. Now, did the exercise of the old third dimensional reality and free will perhaps affect the outcome? Most definitely, but do not think it was a mistake. There aren't any. Now, anchoring and accepting this truth whether you are black, white, yellow, tall, short, impaired, brilliant, that you are the exact replica inside the container of your divinity is a very important starting point. And within that container, within your heart, is the understanding of your very specific and unique mission and purpose. Those desires and what you wish to bring forth, what you wish to experience, and everything is in that basket. Everything is in that basket of desires that is of truth, not ego and not lack, is ready for you. Yes, Ken.
So you access, one of the ways you can access that is through gratitude.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But again, gratitude is a divine state. So again, you're accessing it through a divine state.
Mhm. Yeah. But as you go deeper and deeper into gratitude, be really aware that things will come up, the old belief systems to forgive. So it's both. It's working the blue and the yellow, both sides of the mind, the mother side and the father side. We're bringing them both into balance, into the oneness. Mhm.
Steve, I was trying to simplify this. I'm not sure that what you were talking about really gives us a good idea of how to get to it. I mean,
Well-
I understand what you're saying, but through
I don't know how to get to it, Ken.
well, but what you're saying is, or you seem to be saying is that no, you're wrong. At least that's what I'm picking up from you. And I don't think I am.
Wrong
I
about
think,
what, Ken?
well,
Wrong about what?
divine states and how to access them.
Oh, I can't claim to be an expert in that, Ken.
Well,
I don't-
what I'm trying to say is you have to start someplace. And if you start through feelings, why not?
Oh,
Yeah.
feelings are great. They cut out all the, all the palaver. Feelings are a great way to go. But that's as much as I can say. I mean, I couldn't say yes, feelings always work or something. I don't know.
I don't
But I
care whether
have
they
found
work
it's
or
a
not.
very direct route, yes. What?
It doesn't matter.
But
It's a place to start.
Mhm.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Mhm.
Better place to start than trying to
Mental.
reach enlightenment by thinking about it.
I agree. I
Very
totally
much.
agree. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yes. And Darren.
Yeah, I guess just to further that conversation, I was asking or going to ask whether gratitude comes from the heart and then later at some later state maybe expands into, a divine state, but it has to start in the heart. I think that's the only place you can start.
Well, it just depends on who we are because we're all so unique. The heart work, Archangel Michael has always said, drop into the heart and operate from our heart listening, heart consciousness, practicing in meditation, but also out in the world. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many ways and we're all so unique. Yes, Ken.
Well, that's fine. But my point is that choosing a feeling is a way to simplify the way to get there. That's all.
I agree. And a good one is gratitude. I started out doing with forgiveness, Ken. I
Mhm.
was guided to really go deep into forgiveness. I wrote about forgiveness. Steve knows about it for years and years and years. And then I realized, started to understand more deeply gratitude. So it started for me with forgiveness, but there's so many ways. There's a million ways to do this. Mhm.
Yeah, I started with gratitude and I wrote many gratitude journals over the years.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a saying, for every sense door, a way in. So for instance, there are people who emphasize seeing.
Mhm.
So their door in might be the seeing of a form of God, we'll say.
Mhm.
Whereas I'm all about my internal experiential state. So
Mhm.
I have all these experiences of bliss and ecstasy and what have you. But I
Mhm.
don't see anything. I don't see a form of God.
Mhm.
So for every sense door, there's a way in.
Mhm. Yeah. I think if you understand your ray as well, like what your favorite color is, that can give you a clue. So mine is blue. It's like all these blues on the back of this picture here, lightest blue, almost white to dark blue. And it's the ray of the Divine Mother too, and the understanding of forgiveness. So who I am in the higher realms, very close to the Divine Mother. I would imagine that's a big part of who I am. So going that route here was what happened. That's basically what happened. Mhm. And so the blue is the throat, is peace, is forgiveness, really going deeper and deeper into forgiveness. And then it was unnatural that it was, oh, this is this half. Now what's the other half to get to the green love? What's the golden all about? Well, and so the joy, the gratitude, the self-worth. Yeah. So the blue is connected to the self-love, and then the golden to the self-worth. And then combine the two, and we're hitting the jackpot. But yeah, go into the feeling. This is really important. Okay. So everything that is in that basket of desire that is of truth, not ego and not lack, is ready for you. It is within you and also without. It is also existing either in the universe or upon your planet, and you are as capable as drawing something across the universe, which you have just done as hailing a taxi. So once you're in those beautiful states of forgiveness and gratitude and compassion, that non-judgment, then our creative abilities are much, much, much more powerful, because we're creating from a foundation of being in love with the Divine Mother and the Divine Father and the self. It's like a trinity. And I think this is it. No, let's just see how much more. Okay, there's only a couple more. I don't know if we've gone over. What time is it?
7:22.
Yeah, we've gone over a little bit. So maybe we'll just end it right there as hailing a taxi, because we've gone over quite a bit. So I did want to show you how to invoke this law with, there's a very, very simple way, because there's a lot of stuff coming up on the planet, and it came from Commander Ashira. And it's just a matter of invoking it. And I'll just quickly read this, so that even as you watch what's happening in Maui, or the war between Ukraine and Russia, or the issue with violence and addiction and homelessness upon the planet, because it's hard to go anywhere without seeing that. This is a really quick way to do something. And it was Commander Ashira that said, we don't have what you think of as suffering where they are. So this is in the higher realms, but we certainly witness it and we understand it. And in our, what you would think of as emotional field, because we love you so much, we witness suffering on a grand scale and we feel it. So we do understand. Now, there are a number of ways, but the easiest way is invoking the law of balance. And the law of balance is including the balance of above and below, or what you think of as within and without. Above and now, we are talking in the higher realms, yes, even higher dimensions, but also what people conceive or refer to as heaven, or what we would call the heart of one. There is no pain, there is no deterioration, there is no aging. So when you invoke, call upon Sanat Kumara, call Raj, have him show up directly in front of you with his scales, let him show you his scales of justice, invoke balance, and invoke balance in the person, the individual, the situation that you feel is suffering, and within yourself, because it is affecting you, because you are suffering, because you are witnessing suffering. And then they say to invoke the law of change. Invoke that law that allows situations to change, and change does not need to be an elongated process. Change can occur and you be specific in the blink of an eye. So there's two laws. Say you come across a homeless person, you can just silently invoke on behalf of the homeless person and yourself the universal law of balance. As above, so below. There's no suffering in the higher realms. So that's what we are creating on this planet in physical form. And then you can invoke the law of change and say it as fast as you want it to happen. Because that can change the situation, not only for how we view suffering and how that person views suffering. So it's a really, really quick way to for us to alleviate the suffering here. Yes, Ken.
Is there a way for you to take this particular slide and send it to us?
Yes. Now I did already, but I'll send it again because I sent you that bit about Maui. I sent you about the future cities, Zenzanoni, my guide. It's that email that I sent you. It's in there, but I can send it again. I'll send it again because this one is really amazing. It's so simple, and I've been practicing it. Yeah, and it makes you feel so like into that state of joy quite fast. Okay, and there's a link to. I'll send the link to the actual post too because it's an amazing post from Commander Ashira. And I love how he says there is no pain in the higher realms. There's no deterioration. There is no aging. So when we invoke the law of balance, that's what we're invoking. No pain, no deterioration, no aging. As above, so below. That's our ascension.
So when we gain our mastery, that's where we will be then.
Excuse me, you are mastery.
Well, I still
What's
feel
your
pain.
languaging?
I still feel pain and suffering to some degree.
Okay, do you wake up saying, I am a master?
I wake up in joy.
Okay, but maybe like it's us really believing we are masters because we are. So it's like, it's really incorporating that, anchoring that mastery into self. Because that's why we're here. I am a master. Because you are.
Okay, I'll work on that some more then.
Okay. And what really Albert Einstein said, really watch our languaging. Because if we don't really believe it, it's going to come out in our languaging.
That's a very good point. Thank you.
Yeah. And you can, and he said, just watch it. And not to be judgmental of self, just to course correct. It's like fortitude with Jesus. He said, course correct. And SK has said that so many times. Oh, just course correct. No big deal. But really know, and that's what this whole law is about. Know that you came in your mastery. And that's why we're here. And anchoring in, invoking this law will help that over and over. It really helps us understand that deeper, deeper, deeper. Yeah. Okay. So, and I've got some funny pictures here. There's my spaceship picture that I took right outside my window. So often our galactic family, they will come and they can hide in the clouds. They can hide their ships in the clouds. And then another time I was really working with bear energy and they timed it. So I would look out the window and see the bear they made in the clouds. Yeah, that was amazing because they made me put on the tea kettle and then they said, oh, you feel tired. And I went and lied down until the kettle boiled. And then they got me to get up and look out the window. And there was a bear in the clouds. It was very similar to the bear on my drum. So that was cool. And then here, this is a great big angel that appeared at 3 o'clock in the morning. And when I would take the girls in recovery to the therapeutic horses, the horses would ask me to come with them. Like they wanted to work when I was down in the downtown east side with the ones really struggling. And so they would help me in the downtown east side, and I could feel their presence. And this was one of the horses when she passed. Her name was Rain, Rayne, and she passed. And they got me up in the middle of the night to take the picture of herself as an angel in the clouds, leaving the earth zone. And I posted it on Facebook the next day, and the owner of the therapeutic horses like phoned me instantly and said, I kept telling Rain she was going to be a big angel. She's a big angel now. She's a big angel. And then when I posted it, I was like, wow, that is so cool. That they woke me up to take that picture. So that Krista could have it. She took that and printed it out. Yeah. Yeah, it was a gigantic, it was huge. It was just like, it was massive angel out there. And I thought, wow, this is so amazing. I ran to get my phone to take a picture. It was so distinct. Yeah, so just know things are not as they seem here. We have so much help around us, so much help, and you are all masters. You are masters. We are masters. Yes, Steve.
I mentioned something that's happened to me recently, just to show you how things can change very, very quickly. And I've written it all down. It's all in articles, but I can't quite remember some of the sequence of events. But what's been happening with me for the last couple of days is that confidence has been arising and growing. And this follows a couple of months after my realizing what Michael wanted by co-creative partnership. Since then, this has all been kind of developing, right? And once confidence started to arise in me, all of a sudden now, if I thought of the things that Michael has asked of me, and he's asked a fair number, right? Now it's perfectly fine. When do we start? Do I come in Monday, 9 o'clock? Like, what do we do? You know, so the onset of confidence, which I'm sure they're handling, equips us to do these jobs that, we're thinking about, wondering how we're going to do them.
It just happens. It just happens.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah. Like when I started volunteering, it just happened. Like all of a sudden I was out there volunteering. I volunteered at the schools, at the, elementary schools. But I never went anywhere to do volunteer work. Besides that, when my kids were growing up, then all of a sudden I was out in these rehab centers working with people, just sitting with women. I didn't really even have to do anything. And when Steve and I went through, remember we went through the West Coast, we didn't really have to do anything. We just had to show up.
In fact, remember in Ocean, forget what the place is called, but where I actually gave a talk.
Yeah.
Nobody was interested.
No, not at all.
They just wanted to talk.
That's what's so funny about it, because there's not really a lot we have to do. That forbearance is us being restrained and still.
Just listening.
Yeah, that's all it takes. It's incredible. Yeah, because most people just want to talk, or they have questions or whatever. Yeah. So we're all trying to get somewhere. We're not going anywhere. We're just remembering love and kindness. It's really simple. All right. Okay. Well, that was a fun class. Let me come out of it, and then I'll just, how do I come out? I keep forgetting how to get out. Okay, where are we? There we are. Okay, so let me just say thank you to everybody for coming and being here. Really appreciate it. And we'll go deeper into the law of balance in the next class. Okay, so that's it for now. I'm going to stop the recording.